Hi. Let's discuss yoga contraindications and the teacher's responsibility. One of the very first things that we all have to come to grips with is we may not know everything that the student knows about their own health or that their doctor does. If a student's coming to you for a private or in a class and they have a problem, you really need a doctor's approval. And it's one of those things where we need some communication with our students about pre-existing problems. Another one would be, let's just throw out an example here. Somebody has scoliosis and you start hearing and reading and doing research. You're a yoga teacher, but now all of a sudden you've engaged yourself in doing some research as far as therapy and medical end and everything else as far as scoliosis. And you start to find out, oh no, it says it's okay to do side bends in one particular article, and then I come to another article and it says don't do that. Back bends, it says it's okay and it says it's not okay, and then it goes to another thing. Twists, it says it's okay, it says it's not okay. This is interesting stuff because here's what's going on. It really does depend on the student. And for that, you really need some guidance. You need some guidance from the student, but you also need some guidance from their doctor. And that should be in a way of, for example, some kind of a note that tells you what they can and cannot do. And even if they should be in your class at all. I realize you might want to take every student who comes to your class, but sometimes there are situations where if you don't understand exactly what you're dealing with, are you going to put the student through a gauntlet of trial and error and possibly more pain just to find out what works and what doesn't work? A lot of times the student knows what hurts and what doesn't hurt before you even spend time teaching them. And on that, students need to take responsibility for their own health. And this is something that we as teachers have to address. You cannot know it all unless you actually are a medical doctor or you have the qualifications that make you a person who has a diagnosis and information right in front of you. Maybe you have MRIs and so forth that you can refer to. That's usually not the case with yoga teachers. They just don't have all that information and may not understand that information. Therefore, why jump into something that you're not? And that is, yoga teachers do not have to be doctors. You do not have to act like a doctor. You don't have to pretend you're a doctor. You shouldn't be doing that at all. Let the student take responsibility and understand what they have and tell you what works and what doesn't work. Don't go by a text or a study, and don't go by 100 texts and studies. The other thing is too, it really comes down to a doctor's approval. And do you have an occupational therapist's note or a physical therapist's note? Something that's a professional opinion about what this student can do and cannot do, instead of trying to guess about every ailment. With that one, I bid you farewell. Namaste.